In the cold dark between stars, the freighter Stardust floated like a lost thought, its engines quiet, its lights dim inside the small ship. Lisa sat alone, her hands resting on the worn controls. Her dark hair tied back in a messy knot. She had been flying cargo routes for 3 years. But this trip felt different from the start. The silence outside was too heavy, too empty. She checked her sensors again. Nothing but static and the faint hum of distant cosmic winds. Then a flicker, a tiny blip on the edge of detection. She leaned forward, squinting at the screen. It was gone as fast as it appeared, but her gut told her it was real. Lisa had learned to trust her gut. It had saved her more than once. She powered up the backup thrusters just in case, and ran a quick diagnostic on her shields. They were at 60%. Not great, but enough to handle minor debris or radiation bursts. What she did not expect was the sudden flash of violet light that split the blackness ahead. A ship appeared, not human, not anything in the Federation database. It was long and curved like a scythe, its surface smooth and black as obsidian with veins of glowing purple running along its hull. It made no sound, yet Lisa felt its presence like a pressure against her skin. Before she could react, alarms blared, red lights flashed across the cockpit. The alien vessel had locked onto her with terrifying speed. A boarding pod shot out like a bullet and slammed into the Stardust's side. Metal screamed as the airlock was breached. Lisa grabbed her sidearm, a standard-issue pulse pistol, and moved to the cargo bay door. She took a deep breath and hit the release. The door hissed open. 3 figures stood in the corridor, tall and armored in suits that shimmered like oil on water, their faces hidden behind smooth masks with slits for eyes. 2 of them held weapons, long and slender with glowing tips. The third leaned against the wall, one arm hanging limp, silver liquid dripping from a crack in her armor. The lead alien stepped forward and spoke in a voice that sounded like stone grinding against stone human. "You are trespassing in Kaolari space." Lisa kept her pistol low, but ready. "I didn't know this was your space. There are no markers out here." The alien tilted, its head then pointed to the wounded one. "She is injured. You will treat her." Or Lisa blinked, surprised. They were not here to kill her. They needed help. She nodded slowly. "Okay. But I need my medkit. It's in the cockpit." The aliens watched her every move as she retrieved the kit, her hand steady. Despite the fear coiled in her chest, she knelt beside the injured alien and carefully peeled back the damaged armor. Beneath was smooth gray skin, with faint silver markings and a deep gash across, the ribs leaking that strange silver fluid. "This is bad," Lisa muttered. The wound was infected with something foreign, not bacterial, not viral. It pulsed with a faint light, like it was alive. She cleaned the area with antiseptic foam, then applied a nano sealant from her kit. It hissed as it bonded with the alien tissue. The wounded one gasped but did not cry out. "Thank you," the alien whispered in rough English. Lisa looked up, surprised. "You speak English?" "A little." The alien managed a weak smile. "My name is Zara." The other 2 aliens stiffened at the name. One made a sharp sound like a growl. Zara ignored them, her golden eyes fixed on Lisa. "You are kind for a human." Lisa frowned. "What do you mean?" "The Kaolari have watched your species for decades," she explained. "We see your wars, your greed, your cruelty, but also your art, your music, your willingness to help strangers even at great cost to yourselves. I wanted to understand that part of you." Before Lisa could respond, the ship shook violently. Alarms blared. Again, a new vessel had appeared on sensors, smaller, faster, deadlier. Zara's face darkened. "They found me, Womi own people, the ones who call me traitor because I refused to burn your colonies." Tuash Lisa stared at her. "You're running from your own kindies, and they will not stop until I am dead or in chains." The new ship fired a warning shot. Plasma bolts scorched the Stardust's hull. Lisa scrambled to the cockpit. Zara limped behind her, still weak but determined. "We have to move now," Lisa said, strapping into the pilot seat. Zara collapsed into the co-pilot chair, her breathing ragged. "Go for the Ion Nebula." Its 10 clicks starboard. Lisa punched the coordinates into the nav system and slammed the throttle forward. The Stardust lurched into motion, groaning under the strain, but responding. She weaved through the debris field left over from a recent battle, using broken hulls and floating cargo pods as cover. The hunter ship followed relentless, its weapons tracking. Every turn Zara watched Lisa with growing. This human was calm under fire. Clever and fast-thinking traits the Kaelari valued but rarely saw in outsiders. You fly like a warrior, she said. Lisa grinned a little. I just don't like dying. They reached the edge of the nebula, a swirling cloud of electric blue and violet gas that scrambled sensors and hid heat signatures. Lisa cut the engines and let the ship drift silently into the mist. For a long time they sat in the dark, listening to the hum of the nebula outside the hunter ship past, overhead scanning but finding nothing. When the danger passed, Zara finally relaxed her shoulders, slumping slightly. You saved me again, Lisa. You would have done the same. Perhaps. But my people no longer believe in mercy. Lisa turned to face her. Why did you learn English if your people hate humans? Zara looked away. I studied your history, your stories, your songs. You fight, yes, but you also build hospitals, schools, gardens in the middle of war zones. You adopt orphans from enemies. You forgive even when it makes no sense to do so. I wanted to know how that was possible. Lisa was quiet for a moment, then said, Maybe it's because we know how fragile life is. Zara nodded slowly. Yes, maybe that is it. But their peace did not last. A massive energy surge lit up the sensors. A Kaelari battlecruiser had arrived its size, dwarfing the hunter ship. It began sweeping the nebula with powerful scans. They will find us, Zara said grimly. Not if we move first, Lisa replied. There is another way, Zara said suddenly. My royal sigil, it is hidden in the wreckage of my ship. If I activate it, it will awaken the ancient fleet. Only a true heir can do it. Your ship is gone, Lisa said. Not all of it. A piece of the core survived. I can feel it. They flew toward the signal, landing on a large fragment of twisted metal floating in the void. The air outside was thin and freezing, but the sigil glowed faintly beneath layers of ice and scorched plating. Lisa helped Zara dig it out, her fingers numb from the cold. Finally, they uncovered a crystalline disc etched with glowing runes. Zara placed her hand upon it and spoke words in her native tongue. Light erupted from the disc, spreading through space like a ripple. Moments later, the stars themselves seemed to shift as dozens of colossal Kaelari warships emerged from hidden folds in reality, their hulls ancient yet powerful, their weapons humming with untapped energy. The Council's battlecruiser turned to flee, but it was too late. The ancient fleet surrounded it, their cannons blazing. Zara stood tall on the bridge of the Stardust, now refitted with Kaelari tech, her golden eyes burning with authority. I am Zara, heir of the first throne, and I reclaim my people. The Council surrendered without another shot. In the days that followed, Zara was restored to her rightful place, but she ruled differently. Now she abolished the Council's war edicts, opened diplomatic channels with human colonies, and declared a new era of Unitaliza was offered a place among the Kaelari as an honored guest, but she declined. My home is out there, she said, pointing to the stars where people like me are still flying. Alone Zara understood. She gave Lisa a small crystal pendant. It glowed softly with the same golden light as her eyes. If you ever need me, this will call me across any distance. Lisa thanked her and boarded the Stardust once more. As she flew away, Zara watched from her command throne, not as a queen but as a friend, and somewhere in the vastness of space two, very different beings carried the same quiet hope that kindness could change the universe. Weeks passed since Lisa left the Kaelari armada behind her. The Stardust hummed softly as it glided through a quiet sector far from major trade lanes. She had taken odd jobs delivering medical supplies to remote outposts and repairing old satellites for credits, just enough to keep the ship running and her stomach full. The crystal pendant Zara gave her hung around her neck, warm to the touch even, in the cold of space. One evening, as she drifted near the edge of the Helios belt, a faint pulse came through her comms. Not a voice, not a signal, just a soft rhythmic hum like a heartbeat. She touched the pendant. It glowed brighter in response. Something was wrong. She checked her long-range sensors and saw it, a distress beacon blinking weakly from a derelict station orbiting a dead moon. The signal was coded in Kaelari script, but Lisa recognized the pattern. It was Zara's personal frequency. Without hesitation, she set a course, the The station loomed ahead, dark and broken, its outer shell pitted with blast marks and scorched metal. It looked like it had been attacked recently. Lisa docked carefully using manual thrusters to avoid triggering any unstable systems. She suited up, grabbed a plasma cutter, and stepped into the airlock inside. The station was a tomb, corridors twisted in unnatural angles, walls lined with strange organic circuitry that pulsed faintly. Even though power was offline, the air smelled of ozone and something metallic like old blood. She followed the signal deeper into the heart of the structure, then she heard it, a low groan. She rounded a corner and froze. Zara lay slumped against a console. Her armor cracked, her golden eyes dim. Blood silver in color pooled beneath her. A jagged piece of shrapnel jutted from her side. Her breathing was shallow and uneven. Lisa dropped to her knees. Zara the Queen stirred, her lips moving slowly. Lisa. You came, of course I came. What happened? Rebels from the old council, they ambushed me here. They wanted the core. They said it holds the key to rewriting Kailari DNA, to erase compassion from our kind forever. Lisa's hands flew to work, pulling out her medkit again. She knew this wound was worse than before. The shrapnel was laced with a neural toxin designed to shut down Kalari biology. Slowly and painfully, hold still. She whispered. She cut away the damaged armor, cleaned the wound, and injected a broad-spectrum antitoxin she had traded for on Alpha Centauri. It was risky, but it was all she had. Zara gripped her wrist weakly. You should not be here. They will come back. Then we leave now, Lisa said, helping her to her feet. But, Zara shook her head. The core, it must not fall into their hands. It is hidden in the central chamber. If they activate it, they can rewrite every Kailari born from this moment on, turning us into perfect soldiers with no mercy, no love, no choice. Lisa understood the stakes. She helped Zara limp toward the core room. The station groaned around them as if sensing their presence. Lights flickered on and off, revealing glimpses of claw marks and broken weapons scattered on the floor. They reached the core chamber, a circular room with a floating orb of liquid light suspended in the center. The Kailari Genesis core. It pulsed like a living heart before they could react. Shadows moved in the doorway. 5 Kailari warriors stepped in their armor, black and featureless. No insignias, no markings, just pure enforcers of the old ways. Their eyes glowed red with cold purpose. You are too late, human one hissed. The queen is broken, and the core is ours. Lisa stood in front of Zara, her pulse pistol raised, but she knew it would do little against them. Then Zara whispered. Use the pendant. Lisa frowned, but did as she was told. She held up the crystal pendant and focused on it, remembering Zara's words. If you ever need me. The pendant flared with golden light so bright it filled the room. The warriors shielded their eyes. In that moment the core reacted. It recognized the true air. It surged with energy and sent a wave of power through the station. The walls shifted. The floor opened beneath the warriors and swallowed them whole. Their screams echoed, then vanished. Silence returned. Zara collapsed. Lisa caught her before she hit the ground. You did it, Lisa, she whispered. No, we did it. Lisa carried Zara back to the Stardust, using every ounce of strength she had. The queen was heavier than she looked, but Lisa refused to let go. Back on the ship, she stabilized Zara again, this time using the ship's full medbay. The antitoxin was working, but slowly Zara needed rest and times. The Stardust drifted away. From the dead station, Lisa sat beside the medbed watching the stars. Why did they come after you again, she asked. Because change frightens those who built their power on fear, Zara replied, her voice weak but clear. They believe emotion is weakness, but it is our greatest strength. It is what lets us choose right over easy. Lisa nodded. I get that. You are more Kailari than they are, Zara said with a faint smile. Lisa laughed softly. I doubt that. But you are. She insisted. You risked everything for a stranger, for a cause that was not yours. You showed courage without glory. That is the highest honor in our oldest texts. Lisa looked down at the pendant. It had cooled, but still glowed faintly. What now, she asked. Now I return to my people and finish what I started, Zara said. But not alone this time. Lisa raised an eyebrow. I need a human voice at my side. Someone who understands both worlds. Someone who can remind my people that peace is not surrender, That kindness is not foolishness. You want me to stay not forever, just long enough to help build the bridge between our kins. Lisa thought about it. She loved flying alone, the freedom, the silence. But she also remembered the faces of the colonists. She delivered medicine to the children, waving from broken windows the old man who gave her a hand-carved bird as thanks. Maybe it was time to do more than just fly. Okay, she said, I'll stay. Zara's golden eyes lit up with gratitude. Days later, the Stardust docked with the Royal Kailari flagship. Not as a prisoner, not as a guest, but as an ambassador of humanity. The crew watched in silence as Lisa walked beside Zara through the grand halls, their steps echoing like a promise. News spread quickly across the sectors the Kailari Queen had named, a human. Her voice to the stars, some called it madness, others called it hope. On the observation deck, Lisa stood with Zara looking out at the fleet stretching into the distance. You really think this will work? She asked. Zara placed a hand on her shoulder. I do, because you are here. And for the first time in a long time, Lisa felt like she was exactly where she was meant to be. Not just drifting, but building something that mattered, far below on a distant human colony. A child looked up at the night sky and pointed to a new star, one that shone golden instead of white. Mommy, what is that? That is hope, the mother whispered, and somewhere between the stars, two friends stood together ready to change everything. Months had passed since Lisa became the voice of humanity among the Kailari, and the alliance between their peoples grew stronger. Every day, new trade routes opened, joint research stations floated in neutral zones, and for the first time in centuries, Kailari children learned human songs while human engineers studied Kailari biotech, not as weapons but as tools for healing. The galaxy felt lighter somehow, as if a great weight had begun to lift. But peace is never easy. On a quiet evening aboard the royal flagship, Lisa sat in the observation lounge sipping synth tea and watching twin moons rise over a newly terraformed world below. Zara entered quietly, her armor replaced by a simple robe of deep violet, her golden eyes tired but calm. We have a problem, she said. Lisa set down her cup. What now? A signal came from the outer rim, a human colony near the void edge. It vanished 3 days ago. No distress call, no debris. Just gone. Lisa frowned. That sector is empty. Nothing out there but dust and old war relics. Exactly, Zara said. And yet our long-range sensors picked up energy traces unlike anything we have seen. Not human, not Kailari. Something else. Something else. They prepared the Stardust for departure. Not as a freighter anymore, but as a scout ship refitted with Kalari stealth tech and human navigation systems. Lisa piloted, while Zara monitored scans from the co-pilot seat. Their bond had deepened into something unspoken, a trust that needed no words. They reached the colony. In 2 days, what they found chilled them to the bone. The settlement was intact, buildings, standing crops still growing in the fields, but no people, no animals, not even insects. The silence was absolute, as if life itself had been vacuumed out of the air. Lisa walked through the empty streets, her boots echoing too loudly. She checked homes, doors unlocked, meals half-eaten on tables, toys on the floor, but no signs of struggle, no blood, no weapons fire. It is like they were taken without knowing. Zara said, her voice low. Then Lisa spotted something in the central square, a single object left behind, a small music box. She picked it up and opened it. A soft tune played, the same lullaby her mother used to sing. How is that possible? She whispered. Zara examined the box with a scanner. It is human-made. But the internal mechanism has been altered with unknown materials. Before they could react, the ground trembled. A rift opened in the sky above the colony. Not a wormhole, not a jump gate, but a tear, in reality itself dark and swirling with colors that hurt the eyes. From it emerged a ship unlike any design, organic and shifting like living flesh. Its surface breathing, pulsing with veins of black light. Who are they? Lisa asked, her hand on her. Hueponi do not know, Zara said, but they are not of this universe. The ship hovered silently. Then beams of dark energy shot down, striking the colony, not destroying it but absorbing it, pulling buildings, trees, even the soil into its core like a sponge, soaking up water. Lisa ran back to the Stardust, Zara close behind. They launched just as the beams reached their position. The Stardust shuddered under the pull of the strange energy. But the Kaelari shields held. We cannot fight that. Lisa said no, but we can learn, Zara replied. Set course for the Federation Council, they need to see this. They raced back to the inner systems, arriving at Earth orbit in record time. The council chamber was full when they entered. Admirals, scientists, diplomats, all arguing over resource allocation and border disputes until Lisa placed the music box on the table and played the recording of the rift. Silence fell. The Federation agreed to send a joint task force, human and Kaelari ships working together. For the first time in history, they returned to the Void Edge with 10 warships and 1 scout. The Stardust. The rift was still there, wider now, and more ships were emerging. This is an invasion, Lisa said. No, Zara corrected. It is a harvest. They are not conquering. They are collecting what? Life itself. They feed on sentient energy, on memories, on emotion. That music box. It was bait designed to trigger human nostalgia, to draw us closer. Lisa felt sick, but also determined. So how do we stop them? Zara looked at her with a sad smile. We cannot destroy them. They exist outside our laws of physics, but we can hide what they want. How? By shielding the emotional signature of entire worlds using a blend of Kaelari resonance fields and human neural dampeners. It will not stop them forever, but it will buy time. And who builds it? Us. They worked for days without sleep aboard the Stardust, merging human tech with Kaelari biology in ways no one had dared before. Lisa wired circuits, while Zara wove living crystal into the framework. The device hummed to life, a sphere of soft light that pulsed like a heartbeat. They tested it on a small moon nearby, activating the field just as another rift opened. The dark ship emerged, scanned the moon, and after a long moment turned away. It worked. Lisa breathed. For now, Zara said. They deployed the first shield around Earth, then Mars, then the Kaelari. Homeworld. One by one, the colonies went dark to the harvesters hidden behind veils of calm and silence. But the cost was high. The device required a living mind to anchor it, someone who understood both species, someone whose thoughts could balance. The fieldy will do it, Zara said. No, Lisa said. You are the queen, your people need you. And you are the bridge. Lisa, humanity needs you. 2. They argued until Lisa had an idea. What if we share? Zara looked at her, surprised. The field can be tuned to 2 minds if they are in sync. She explained, if we link together our thoughts, our memories, our hopes, maybe we can hold it longer, stronger. Zara smiled. Yes, that might work. They stood side by side in the core chamber of the flagship. Hands clasped the device. Between them, light flared golden and silver, weaving together like threads of fate. Memories flashed between them. Lisa saw Zara as a child watching stars from a crystal balcony. Zara saw Lisa fixing her first engine in a dusty Earth garage they shared. Fears, dreams, losses, and quiet joys. The field expanded across the galaxy, a silent shield of empathy and understanding. The rifts began to close. The harvesters could not feed on what they could not feel. In the aftermath, the alliance held stronger than ever. New schools taught both languages. New artists painted with light and sound from both cultures, and in the center of it all stood 2 friends who chose to stand together when the universe tried to pull them apart. Lisa still flew the Stardust, sometimes, but now she always had a co-pilot. And Zara still ruled her people, but never alone. Together they proved that the smallest act of kindness could echo across stars, and that even in the face of the unknown, courage and connection were the most powerful weapons of all. Peace settled over the alliance like a soft blanket. But Lisa felt it was too quiet. Too still. She stood on the observation deck of the royal flagship, watching the twin suns of Kaelari Prime dip below the horizon, their light painting the sky in golden violet. Zara joined her, a cup of warm root tea in hand. You are thinking again, she said. Always, Lisa replied. I keep wondering if we missed something, if the harvesters are really gone or just waiting. Zara sipped her tea. They are gone for now. But the rifts taught us something important. The universe is bigger than we thought, and not all of it is. Kind. Lisa nodded. But not all of it is cruel either. Exactly. Days later, a small human vessel sent a distress call from the fringe worlds, near the shattered remains of the old Kaelari war zone. The message was broken, full of static, but one word came through clearly. Help. Lisa and Zara took the Stardust alone. No fleet, no backup. Just the 2 of them, and the quiet hum of the ship they had flown. Together through fire and silence, They found the vessel adrift. Its hull cracked, its power core flickering. A single survivor floated inside, a young woman named Maya, barely 20 with wide, frightened eyes and a data chip clutched in her hand, who whispered, "They took everyone, they wore our faces." Lisa helped her into the medbay while Zara scanned the area. Sensors picked up nothing, but the girl's story made no sense. The attackers looked human, acted human, even spoke like humans. But their eyes were empty. No emotion, no hesitation, just cold efficiency. Zara examined the data chip it contained. Encrypted logs from a secret Federation project called Mirror Skin. "What is that?" Lisa asked. "A biomimicry program." Zara said they were trying to create perfect infiltrators, beings that could copy human appearance down to the cellular level. But something went wrong. The subjects lost their sense of self. They became hollow shells, driven only by orders, and someone activated them. Lisa finished. "Yes, and they are hunting both our peoples now." The truth hit hard. The Mirror Skins were not just rogue. They were being controlled by a hidden faction within the Federation. Council members who feared the Alliance, believed that unity made them weak, and that only pure human dominance could ensure survival. "We have to warn the others," Lisa said. "But how?" Zara asked. "If the Council is compromised?" "Who do we trust?" Lisa thought for a long moment, then smiled. "We trust the people." They flew to the nearest colony. Not a military base, not a capital, just a farming world where humans and Kalari worked side by side in the fields. They landed quietly and spoke to the locals, shared the truth, showed them the logs. The people listened, not with fear but with anger. They had built this peace with their own hands, and they would not let it be stolen. Word spread fast through underground networks. Old freighter pilots, retired soldiers, school teachers, all passing messages through coded songs and hidden data bursts. The Mirror Skins could copy faces, but they could not copy trust, Lisa. And Zara moved from world to world, always one step ahead of the hunters. They trained volunteers. How to spot the mimics. A too perfect smile. A blink that lasted too long. A voice that never cracked with emotion. On the ice plains of Ceres, they faced their first real battle. A group of Mirror Skins ambushed a supply convoy. Lisa used the stardust to draw their fire, while Zara led a team of locals armed with sonic emitters tuned to disrupt the mimic biology. The skins screamed as their forms unraveled, collapsing into gray sludge. Afterward, Maya stood among the survivors, her fear replaced by quiet strength. "I want to help," she said, so she did. She became their eyes in the network, remembering every detail, every pattern, every lie. The skins told weeks turned into months. The resistance grew stronger. The hidden council members began to panic. They sent more skins faster, smarter. But the people were ready. Then came the final move. The faction activated a master signal meant to awaken every mimic at once, to seize control of every major city and ship in one coordinated strike. But Lisa and Zara had expected it. They had spent nights reverse engineering the signal, using the Stardust's hybrid systems to build a counterpulse, not to destroy the skins, but to give them back what they lost. A spark of self, a memory of who they once were, on the day of the attack. They broadcast the pulse from orbit. Across the Alliance, the Mirror Skins stopped. Some wept, some ran, some simply sat down and stared at their hands as if seeing them for the first time. The hidden council was exposed, arrested by their own people who refused to return to fear. Peace returned, but it was different now, deeper, stronger, forged in fire and choice. Maya stayed with them. Not as a refugee, but as a leader, helping former skins rebuild their lives, teaching them that identity was not just memory, but action. Lisa still flew the stars, but now she carried more than cargo. She carried hope story seeds for new gardens on new worlds. Zara ruled with wisdom, but also with laughter. Often heard sharing jokes with human children or trying to cook earth food in the royal kitchen, much to the horror of her advisors. And in the quiet moments when the galaxy slept, they would sit together on the deck of the Stardust, watching the stars, not as queen and ambassador, not as alien and human, but as friends who had faced the darkness and chose to light a candle instead. Universe was vast and full of unknowns, but as long as there were those willing to stand together, to listen, to understand, to protect the fragile light of kindness, then no shadow could last forever. Years had passed since the Mirror Skin crisis, and the alliance between humans and Kalari had grown into something no one could have imagined. Schools taught both languages. Children played games that mixed human rhythm with Kalari light patterns. and trade ships flew between worlds without fear. Lisa still piloted the Stardust, but now it carried more than cargo. It carried teachers, engineers, artists, and sometimes just families visiting relatives across the stars. Zara ruled from her crystalline throne, but often left the palace to walk among her people, listening more than speaking. One quiet morning, a faint signal reached the outer monitoring stations. Not a distress call, not a weapon signature, but a song. It was soft and strange, a melody, made of shifting tones that did not match any known language or instrument. Yet it felt familiar, like a half-remembered dream. Lisa heard it while checking supply logs on Mars' orbit. She froze. The tune echoed the same lullaby from the music box, the one her mother used to sing. She called Zara immediately. "You hear it too," Zara said over the comm, her voice tight with recognition. "It is the same frequency as the old riffs, but gentler, almost curious." They met aboard the Stardust within hours and set course for the source deep in the uncharted void beyond the last mapped star. As they flew, the song grew stronger, clearer. It wrapped around the ship like a warm current, guiding them, not pulling, not threatening, just inviting. After 3 days, they found it. A single object floated in the emptiness. Not a ship, not a station, but a seed. It was the size of a small moon, smooth and pearlescent, with veins of soft blue light pulsing beneath its surface, and from it came the song. "What is it?" Lisa whispered. Zara ran every scan she knew, but found no weapons, no energy core, no signs of life as they understood it. Yet the seed responded to their presence. It brightened when Lisa spoke. It dimmed when she was silent. It seemed to listen. "Maybe it is alive," Lisa said. "Maybe it is waiting," Zara replied. They sent a probe, but the moment it touched the surface, the seed opened. Not with violence, but with grace, unfolding like a flower made of light. Inside was a chamber filled with swirling mist, and at its center a single crystal identical to the pendant Zara had given Lisa. Lisa reached for it without thinking. Zara grabbed her wrist. "Wait, it could be a trap." But Lisa shook her head. "No, it feels like home." She stepped inside. The mist swirled around her, showing images not on a screen but in her mind. She saw Earth as it was before cities. She saw the first Kalari stepping out of their caves. She saw countless other worlds with beings of stone, fire, water, and thought, all connected by the same quiet song. "This is not a weapon," she said, stepping back out, tears in her eyes. "It is a message, a memory from the ones who came before everyone." Zara understood then. The harvesters, the rifts, the empty colonies. It was not an attack. It was a test. The seed was left behind to see if any species had learned to care for each other, if they had moved beyond fear. "And we passed," Lisa said. "Yes," Zara whispered. They brought the seed back to the Alliance, not as a prize, but as a teacher. Scientists and elders from both species studied it, not to dissect, but to listen slowly. They learned to understand its song. It taught them how to heal poisoned worlds, how to grow food in dead soil, how to speak to oceans and mountains as if they were old friends. The seed became the heart of a new place, the Garden of Echoes, built on a neutral world where all species could come to learn and share. Lisa spent more time there than in space, now teaching young ones how to listen, not just with ears, but with their whole self. Zara often joined her, sitting beneath the seed's soft glow, watching children of many kinds play together without borders. One evening, as the twin moons rose, Lisa asked, "Do you think there are others out there like Zara?" Smiled. "I know there are. The song told us so. And will we meet them?" "In time," she said, "when we are ready." Lisa looked at the stars, not with fear now, but with wonder. Years later, when Lisa's hair turned gray and Zara's golden eyes softened with age, they stood together at the garden's edge, watching a new ship prepare for its first journey. Not a warship, not a freighter, but an ark filled with seeds, songs and stories meant for the Starson. Its hull, painted in both human and Kalari script, where 2 words carry kindness. As the ship lifted into the sky, Lisa leaned on her cane and Zara on her staff, both smiling. They had started something small, a single act of mercy between a wounded queen and a lonely pilot. But it had grown into a light that reached across the dark, and somewhere far beyond the edge of known space, another seed opened its petals and began to sing.